Okay, welcome to F1, where we're going to start creating this 3D soda can effect. Now let's zoom out, as I've done here. I've just pressed Control minus a bunch of times. And then we're going to click on Artboard 4. That's the one with your selection tool. That's the one that we have not used yet. And then just press Control 0 to fit to screen, and that fits that artboard to the screen. Now I've already done this, but you're going to probably want to do it as well. I've gone ahead and locked that logo layer and all the other layers. And so now I only have a layer for this can. I went ahead and made a new layer for the can. So you might want to do that in your layers panel. Remember, window, layers, before you continue on. Now for this exercise, we're going to use the pen tool. And we're going to use it in its simplest form. And instead of trying to draw curves, we'll use the curvature tool for the part that needs to curve. Now I'm zoomed up to about 300% here, and I have my grid on, just so I can see really well. And I'm going to come over here and grab my pen tool. We're going to draw this in 3 pieces and then put the pieces together. And these pieces will have a fill only, no stroke. If it's easier for you to draw them as strokes and then add the fill later, you could do it that way, but that's up to you. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I am going to go ahead and add some additional swatches, and I've gone ahead and done that here. I added the one called Silver 1. If you click on your swatch libraries menu and go to metal, there's several in here, and I just chose that third one that has grays, Silver 1, and I drug that file folder in. So go ahead and do that just so you have some additional grays other than that one gray that we've been using, because it's a can and we want to have some different variations in those grays. Okay, so what we're going to start off with is we're going to draw the top of our can. This is just going to be any of your gray colors, so pick a color, no stroke. Take that pen tool and we're just going to drag over. Let me zoom up to 300% like I told you to. So I'm going to click and let go, and we're starting on the left-hand side. Click and let go, and then come over, maybe 4 boxes close to that. Click, and maybe go like diagonal a little bit, just a little bit, and then back out just a little bit, and then down a little bit, and then back to where we started. So it's 6 clicks basically. And it doesn't have to look exactly like mine, and you could go curve some of these points or whatever. Now, when you're done, we're not going to close this up because in 3D space, it's going to revolve it around this left edge. So we're just going to press Enter on your keyboard, which tells it we're done drawing. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and just skip a little space just because we want to make sure our pen is drawing new, and it has an asterisk next to it when it's drawing new. Okay, now we're going to draw the middle path, which will end up making orange. We want it to match up with the edge there, so we'll go ahead and match that up, and then just draw down. We'll worry about how tall this is later. Just remember, it's all going to be doubled over to make your final shape. So this is just going to be 4 clicks, 4 basic clicks. You can hold Shift to draw straight lines if you want, and then Enter after the 4th click, and then go ahead and make it whichever orange you want to use. And it's up to you. You can always change it later. Okay, and then we're going to draw one more. This is going to be for the bottom. And we'll just let it go. I'm going to hold Shift here. Go straight out and then just kind of down, in a little bit. You can make this one taller. It really doesn't matter. Okay, and then again, if you want to hold Shift to make it perfectly straight. Okay, and Enter after the 4th click. And then go ahead and give it a different gray from those silver grays. Okay, now we do want to do one more thing, and that is take your curvature tool and let's just curve, and I need to go click on it first. Click on your orange piece, grab your curvature tool, and just curve out the path a little bit. Just so that, cans have a little bit of a curve to them. So you have a little bit of a curve there. Okay? All right, now back to your selection tool. We've got all of these set up like they need to be. And then on the next page, 32, it tells us to stack them. So we're just going to stack them all so that they touch, like so. Now, the cool thing is, like, if something doesn't match up, you can always get closer. You can always take your direct selection if you need to move a point. But to be honest, this is going to be editable even after we add the 3D. So it's really not going to matter, So like later on, if I decided I wanted a round point here, it's not a big deal. I can come here to my direct selection. I could click on this point and I could like round it, or whatever. So you can always go back in and change any of this. Okay, so I've got this all on here. It's probably going to be a little too fat when we make it, but it's really not a big deal. I'm going to group it all. So we have stacked it, And now we are grouping it. So you stack and group. And then we're going to use the appearance panel. So Window, Appearance, and hit the FX button and go to the top to 3D. We're revolving this around the middle from the left edge. So click Revolve. This kind of looks like a canned good rather than a canned soda. And then you can change the angle so it's sitting up more. And then that's pretty much all you have to do. Everything is in there. It's got shading. You can mess with some of this stuff. The main thing is leave angle at 360 and make sure that it's set to left edge because that's what it's rotating on is that left edge. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And then I just want to show you, remember, if we press Control Y, this is all still just, it's just lines. So if I make it taller and press Control Y and go back, like I made that taller or whatever. So you can now make it as tall as it needs to be. So you can see my nice little rounded edges there at the top. You could go edit this however you want it. Again, you can go into that outline mode, Control Y, click off of it. You could take your white arrow tool and add anything to the path that you wanted to add. You can grab that pen tool. There's a pen plus if you needed to add another place in there. So like, for instance, I'll just pop in here for funsies and add an additional little notch in there. So I'm going to grab my pen tool on plus, put a tiny little notch right there, grab that white arrow, and then drag that. Oops, it's not quite how I want to drag that. I'm on the wrong thing here. I got to find the handle. There you go, anchor. There we go. So say I pull that like down. I don't know what that's going to look like, but it's fine. Okay, I'm going to press Control 0, get back out of outline view, and see it updated it, because that's just what it does. It's an effect. It's a special effect that updates. I'm going to go back to my black arrow tool. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So that gets us down to the bottom of page 32. You have now created a 3D can.